We're often asked, how do I add a new row? And the answer is, well, maybe you don't need to add a new row. So let me explain why. First of all, whenever you want to build your newsletter, you can drag and drop anything anywhere, and this will create maybe some new elements, like here if I drop on this green line, or maybe some new rows if I drop on this gold line. So you see when I drop on the gold line, I've created a new row here, but actually when I was moving my button here, I could have dropped it as an element within the same row. And in that case, you would see that when I'm in this row, I've dropped the button within the row, and this might be beneficial because maybe, for example, I want this button and all that is above, including the title and everything, to have the same background color. So when you're dropping elements or you're adding rows, you just want to question yourself, do you really need to have this button separate from everything? Because as you can see, now that I've added my button in this row, I can now add a background color to the whole thing. In a way, this will save me time, versus if I drag and drop in a new row and then I actually needed this also to have a background, I would need to go here and select a new background for this, and this is going to actually take longer, right? So just to clarify the different elements and how you can move things around in Publicate, first of all, you have a section by default, which you can see at the top here. It's highlighted in purple, and my whole newsletter actually is within the same section. You don't really need to add sections unless, again, just for ease of use and to speed things up, if you have different sections and those different sections, for example, need to have a different background color. So I'll show you what happens. For example, if I do this one and I want this whole section, for example, to have a blue background color, and maybe I would like another section that has a different background color. In this case, what I would do, I would take a new section here and then drop a new section underneath, and this way this new section here highlighted in purple could have a different background colors. But you can see how for most people that's not even something that they will really need. So that's for the section. Then we have rows that are highlighted in yellow, and you can edit the rows on the left hand side here. Then we also have columns. Columns are in blue, and you can edit them this way. And then you've got the smaller elements. For example, this paragraph of text here is an element, but this H1 is also an element. And this button here, for example, is at the same time a row, right, on the left hand side, but it's also a button, right, on this side, because it's both an element and it was added to a new row. So again, with Publicate, you can move things around really easily, and you don't need to add things as new row. And whenever you want to add something new, you just bring it in. And then if you need a second column, for example, all you would be doing is bringing your other thing to the right. You see I've got a column line here I can drop on. So if I drop here, I'm adding a new column. And you can also, by the way, really easily resize column by clicking on Edit and then Untick Auto. And then you can choose how wide you want some of the content or the other one. Completely up to you. So I hope this was helpful, and if you have any other questions, remember to open the chat and let us know. Or you can also review all our video tutorials here in the top right corner.